Hey guys, welcome back to the Tukes and Tires YouTube channel. I'm Zach, and this week we're talking how to install tail pans and how I kind of did it, so I give you guys a rough idea on how to tackle your project.
Hey, is that Timmy's?
Yeah, because we're in Canada, eh?
Hey guys, just letting you know this is a warning that in this whole video that it's just me talking, so if you don't want to watch it, that's perfectly fine. So, there's your warning. You can stop now! Alright guys, well I'm going to try to do my best to explain on how I kind of tackled this. It is a project, it's a job, so, you know what you're getting into. I know there's not a lot of information out there because I know when I was trying to find stuff on this, you couldn't find anything. So I'm gonna do my best to try to explain. Also, if anybody has any questions, leave them down below. I will answer them to the best of my ability. Obviously, I'm like you guys, I just kind of figure it out as I go. So, first off, you're gonna want to assess your project. So when I bought my truck, it did not have any of the rear floor in it. It was completely gone. So I didn't have much work of chopping it out. So basically how I tackled this is you can see in here that I have this 2x4 header made up and then these legs. Obviously these legs would have been longer that they sat down onto the frame. And I had blocks, filler blocks made up that go in here, and then this was like C-clamped on either side in there. And what I did was I jacked it up higher than it needed to be, but this is all with the old tail pan still in. So I cut the bolts off, left that all in because mine was pretty dilapidated. So it was like there wasn't much structure to the back. So I was able to jack up on it and move it up and stuff. So I got it up higher than it needed to be. And I did all this with the cap or the top still on the back. So that way, I was kind of hoping that it would keep my sides in line, which it did a pretty good job. So after that, after I got all this header and these legs and this all raised up, I made sure to, so I have a note here, and I wrote down from the top of this to where the existing one was, how high it was, and it was 19.5. So if anybody's doing this and they don't have theirs in, that's what my measurement was. Also, another key measurement what you want to do is from this lip in here. Obviously, I had to recreate all this because mine was missing. So I took a measurement to how far over this hole was on my existing one. Well, and it was 4 1/4 strong. So I don't know what that is. That's how I read a tape measure. So basically what I did then was I chopped out the whole back tail pan, I cleaned it up, and then these side pillars here, mine were a little like rotten at the bottom. So what I did was I welded new pieces on and made it nice and flat. And I also, before I stuck the floor in, you'll have to go and you have to fix all the inner sides and stuff, but that's later on down the road. We'll get there. So yeah, I fixed the bottom support rails here to accept the tail pan on flat. But before you go and you weld your tail pan on, this was my thing because I left the cap on the back. So I wasn't able to, if I welded the tail pan in, I wasn't able to get the floor section in. Also, I do have some pictures of the floor welding it together, so I'll put that down below. And it was like, it's 3 pieces that it comes, so you have to like cut and make it welded together. So I'll probably put this over what I'm talking about. But so, and I'll talk a little bit about that too, how I did that. So before the tail pan went in, I snuck my floor in, got it in there. I pushed it farther than it had to be, and then obviously I got the tail pan situated in there, made sure all my measurements from here over were the same on both sides. And then I did, when I went to, oh yeah, I brought it over here. So when I went to go do this, what I did was I made sure that I took measurements off of the gate, so I knew how far from each lip I had to go. I left, I think it was like 3/16 or something like that, of a gap on each side. And then I started off with one side, and I took my square, and from the top of this new tail pan, I put this on here and made sure my side was perfectly straight, and then I made sure that this lip here was straight and stuff. Then measuring across, I kind of put it in place, and this is all with this still clamped in over here. Obviously on my truck too, my front support rail up there was gone, so I recreated that out of some stuff, and I fixed that first as well to stiffen up like the body and stuff, and then I could also use that as a jacking point if I ever had to tip the back up and down. So then after I got that, I did measurements across to make sure that this was wide enough to accept my tailgate. And then same idea, I took my square on top here and made sure this was all square. And then I tacked it in and made sure that all my measurements worked out for where my hinges had to be and how like the sides were straight. And then I did some cross-checking by going on like from this corner to that corner and like make sure that all my measurements were the same diagonally to make sure that it was all straight. And I did that with the cap on so that it kind of held the top. It, you know, it's just, also I was storing it outside when I did this, so I didn't want all this to get wet. And then after I got it all tacked in and I got it welded here, what I did was, I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's a plate that comes up further onto this support piece, and it travels all the way down on the tail pan. So it basically, I did some spot welds in that, and I welded all the way around the edges. I might take a picture of that. I can throw it up on screen so you can see it better from underneath. But basically what that did after welding this up here was it situated it so that like this couldn't rock back and forth, if you get what I'm saying. I know this is a lot of information to take in. I'm probably going over it way too fast. But I'm trying to explain it and work it out in my brain as I'm telling you guys. So, but after I got the tail pan and all that stuff welded in and those braces made down to stiffen it up, I brought my floor back, pulled it on, and then I spot welded the floor in. And then same with the sides. Like I said before, I fixed up the sides so that my floor had somewhere to weld onto. The inner tubs, so if you're going this deep like I was and my inner tubs were rotted, you're gonna have, you're dealing with a lot of aftermarket stuff, and they're not gonna fit. So you're gonna have to, you know, possibly cut, make stuff just like ram it in there, because that's what I did. So those were a treat to put in. I had to have somebody push down on the floor to line up all the bullet holes and stuff, but once I got them in, they were fine. So then also, okay, with this floor, welding it together, because once again, if you're getting this deep and you're into it, these pieces, like on the sides and all this stuff is like perfect, right? But they don't make it with this cutout, so you're gonna have to cut out, or well, they do a little bit, but I had to extend mine, so you're gonna have to cut this a little bit. And then they always run these panels longer, right? So they basically, where this seam was, there was like an extra dip that came down to here. So what I did was I put both sides in, and I made sure that it fit in there, and I marked center on each, but then it worked out so that this rail worked out to about the same size. So basically I cut both of these pieces down the center, and then once I got these two welded together, I had to take a measurement from the back of my tail pan to the front support up there to how long this has to be, because they both have a lip here. But I left my floor hanging over just a smidge to give me some wiggle room back and forth, because I figured once the carpet goes on up there, you're not going to see it. And then I made my decision where I was going to cut the floor over there, which you can see it's right behind the holes where the seat brackets got to go in. And also I can't find those online, so I'm gonna have to make those up probably soon so that I can get my seat fastened in there. But basically, I didn't cut anything off of the front section that they sent. I laid it on there, marked a line, and then I welded together. I also TIG welded all the floor together. I'm not an expert on that, but I just want to do as least grinding as possible. And the pictures I'll put in, you'll be able to see the braces from underneath that I had bent up by a local, it was like a local metal place that they just bent me up the rails. I gave them the measurements off the old ones that were in there. And that's what I said in my last video, where I wasn't sure if I was going to add an extra brace in here because I got an extra one, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But let me just think here. I don't think I missed anything. It will be a trick to get the tail pan in here once like this is all like jacked up, because there's like a lip here that you're gonna have to like work it around and stuff. You might not have an issue, who knows, but that was just the way I did it. And I also did it before I did all the side stuff, so all my old sides were on and everything, so I had rough measurements of where stuff was. But I think that's a rundown on how you could tackle your installing your tail pan. I don't know if it's right. It worked for me. Once again, here's the measurements on that. So from the top of the box, you could say, to the top of the tail pan, it's 19.5, and then from this side inside rail here to the hole, it was 4 1/4 strong. So yeah, basically I just worked it on each side like that, and yeah, I think how I tackled it. Lacey, do you think I did a good job explaining? I really don't think so. Maybe I did, but like I said, if you guys have any comments, questions, you know, let me know down below. I can answer them for you. Yeah, I think that's it. So I don't think I'm missing anything. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I know that was a bunch of mumbo jumbo talking, but it had to be done. I wish I filmed me doing this. It would have been a lot better explaining it that way, but it is what it is. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and don't forget to salute the beaver.